Main event was Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson. Obviously, Tony Ferguson was supposed to face Khabib for the 5th time.
And we may never get that fight now.
Yes, the fight ended up falling through. Justin Gaethje agreed to fight him and proceeded to go in there and handily defeat Tony Ferguson. He won every single round. And in the last round...
One judge gave a round to Ferguson, the round where he had him really rocked at the end. I gave Ferguson one round out of the 4 that finished, and he was clearly winning the 5th before it was stopped.
Ferguson was winning the 5th before it was stopped?
No, I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Gaethje was winning the 5th easily.
Yes.
Yeah, when it was stopped, yeah.
So basically, Ferguson's face was all cut up and starting to swell by the 2nd round. He was just swinging like crazy, but missing a lot. And Gaethje's just calmly
Gaethje fought a super
fighting his fight. And he stumbled this guy. I think it was the end of the 2nd round. There was an uppercut by Ferguson that dropped Gaethje, but he was right back up. That's literally
it was right as the round ended. So it wasn't so much that he was up as much as that the round ended, and he
got right back to his feet before the horn sounded. I mean, he was back up, and
he was hurting.
He was walking back to his corner, a little funny, but he came back out and was right back in the game.
Yeah. Gaethje looked fantastic in the fight all the way through. It was an amazing fight because they both hit the other one so hard, but far more Gaethje on Ferguson. Gaethje collected on so many punches. He fought at such a fast pace. He fought, kind of fight you would expect Ferguson to fight, but he was hitting so hard, and he finally, by the 5th round, started rocking Ferguson, and he took out his, Ferguson's legs were gone and everything, but I could not believe the shots that Ferguson took. I mean, I think that there were probably a dozen shots in this fight that would have knocked 95% of the lightweights out. It was just unbelievable the amount of punishment that Ferguson was taking. And it took he was getting hurt a lot at the end, but he took so many flush shots to the head without even going back. It was amazing, but
his face was swollen so badly by the 3rd round. His eye was swollen shut. He was cut all over his face. By the 5th round, as a fighter and just facially, he just looked nothing like Tony Ferguson. He had nothing left. He's just getting hammered. And finally, 3:39 of the 5th round, Gaethje hits his shot, and Ferguson doesn't go down, but he short circuits. He kind of starts shaking his head and moving all weird. And Gaethje landed one more shot, and Herb Dean just said it's over. Ferguson was on his feet. He was very angry about the stoppage.
Yeah, that was a fair stoppage. He had taken way too much punishment.
Absolutely fair. And I got to say one thing, because Ferguson said this, and also Dominic Cruz said this. They're like, I told this ref not to stop it until I was out.
Yeah, but that's not good. The ref's never going to listen to that.
What the fuck? You can say whatever you want to the referee, but it's the referee's decision to determine when you're out of it. And no referee is going to sit there and let you die because you decided that you didn't want this fight stopped unless you were out. Yeah. And I thought I was fine with the Dominic Cruz stoppage.
I was too.
Totally fine with the Ferguson stoppage.
The Ferguson stoppage, no, I don't think anyone's arguing the Ferguson stoppage.
No, both of these were very good. This dude was out of it. And afterwards, Gaethje goes over to hug him, and Ferguson shoves the guy away. And Gaethje just looks at him and says, being an asshole is going to get you nowhere. And about a minute later, Ferguson came over and did give him a hug. I think he was just so...
He was just mad.
Just messed up by everything that he just did what he did.
The thing, though, is that as great as Gaethje looked, this was not Tony Ferguson. He looked really haggard. I don't think that this was the difference, but a couple of weeks ago, for reasons that only he understands, he decided to cut to 155. It was on, I think it was on April the 19th. So it was 3 weeks ago. He just decided that since he was planning on cutting to that weight, he was going to do it even though he had no fight. And I just didn't understand that mentality at all. I think he was overtrained or undertrained, or maybe just got old. I don't know. He looked old, and he fought old, and I mean, some of that may just be that he didn't get the right amount of,
the reality is, when you train like a complete madman and you fight like a complete madman and you take as much as punishment as Tony Ferguson takes, the day's coming fast.
It came.
And it sure looked today. You know what this looked like? This looked like what we've had to hear about Vitor, where everyone always goes, "Oh, the old Vitor's back." We're never going to see the old Ferguson again. I don't think.
I think so. It reminded me of watching Cerrone in the last couple of fights. So Cerrone had a good fight tonight, but Cerrone's not the same. And I didn't think Ferguson was the same from the first minute of the fight. He's tough as hell, but that was pretty much it. I mean, I didn't really see. I mean, he threw some great shots and some great kicks, but overall he was not fighting at the pace he normally fights, and he just didn't look strong like he usually looks. So I just thought, he just, for whatever reason, and this fight did him no favors. I mean, this is the kind of fight where, this is the fight that really at the tail end of your career is like the start. Like when I was watching it by round 3, even though, again, he got some good shots in, and he was, I wouldn't say he was competitive, but he also was not Tony Ferguson at all. And it just felt like, unless he had like a really bad day or something, it just, it was just different from all the previous 12 fights. I mean, he had in the previous 12 fights, he had a couple, especially one that was very, very close, but most of the times he's just massacring people. And it wasn't like Gaethje was really good, but he wasn't so good that the old Tony Ferguson wouldn't have been able to, at least become very, very competitive with him. So I don't know that we're ever going to see Tony Ferguson at this level. I think, we'll see, but it was, it was a very different Tony Ferguson. And it's like, honestly, I think this Tony Ferguson would have gotten, but against the best Khabib, it's a different fight because the Khabib fight is a takedown fight, but his stand-up didn't look so great that, I don't know. It's, you can't really say, though, it's a different fight. And Khabib and Justin Gaethje is obviously going to be the next fight for the championship. And, the shots that Justin Gaethje hit Ferguson with through in almost every round would probably knock out Khabib. But it's a completely different fight because the whole fight is whether Khabib can take him down. And if Khabib takes him down, no matter what, it's a miserable day for you because that guy's so strong and he's usually very, very aggressive on top. But it's an intriguing fight. It's a big fight now. I think that people really see Gaethje as like the real deal now because I expect this fight did very well. I expect that a lot of people watch this just because it's the first major sports event in 2 months. And, the winners throughout the main show, that's why I was surprised about Cejudo. So many people watched him. It's just not look, if he really wants to get out, more power to him. It's better to get out early than late. But I thought that Cejudo and Francis Ngannou and Gaethje, they all look tremendous on this show. Calvin Kattar too. Cater.